This is second video in the video series covering access control models, and in this video I will discuss the discretionary access control model or DAC, which is an identity based model in which the resource owner has the discretion over who else may access that resource and at what level. This model is default in everyday operating systems like Windows, Linux, Unix, and Mac OS. So every object, that is file or folder, has a owner who has full discretion over the use and distribution of that object, and then the owner grants access to that object per identity in an access control list, that is read, write, and execute permissions for that object. This access control list is not same as the network or router ACL. One of the characteristic of discretionary access control model is the right propagation, where an owner can pass on the rights of object to other subjects with no central approval. So owner can delegate day-to-day permission handling to a custodian. And if there is a conflict between the individual right of that subject and its group membership rights, then he will get the both rights. For example, if he has the read permission and his group membership has the write permission of an object, so he will get read and write permissions, except if any of the role explicitly defines that there is no access, so it will supersede everything and he will get no access. So this discretionary access control model is distributed since there is no central authority, and it is useful when the central authority does not have enough context to decide access decisions regarding the objects. For example, if you have took a picture, so you are the owner of that picture and you can share it on the social media and you can decide who else can see it. So this is not up to the social media admin. And other case could be the domain specific data, for example data within a team. So owner of that data can decide who can access that data within that team or within that setup, not the central IT team. So Windows NTFS has discretionary access control list, and Unix and Linux have file permissions, where the if you create a file, you become the owner of that file, and then you can decide who else can access that file, and no admin is required to decide that. The main advantage of discretionary access control model is its flexibility, since the decision sits with the owner, not a central authority. And this is workable in small environment where you require fast sharing of objects and data, and there are low overheads. However, there are certain weaknesses of discretionary access control model. For example, one of the weaknesses is the privilege creep, where over a period of time subjects get different rights and their rights gets accumulated, which violates the principle of least privilege. And then there is insider threat, where an owner can abuse its access or its discretion for that object. And then there is also a malware attack. So malware is just a malicious program. So if your account has admin rights, then that malicious program gets all the admin rights, and it can delete the files on your system. Moreover, there is no central enforcement, therefore there is no system wide or consistent policy which is applicable to all objects. So it is upon the discretion of the owner. So discretionary access control model is closely related to uh, trusted computing system evaluation criteria, or the Orange Book. And for centrally enforced policy, like in government or military setups, you have to use the mandatory access control model, which I would discuss in next series of lectures. So one of the tip is that discretionary access control model is not the right choice when scenario call for strict, predictable, or centrally enforced control, since it is very flexible. This is all. Thank you.